minister has breached COVID rules, should he be resigning?
Yes,
Why do you think that?
because I didn't break any COVID rules. I followed the guidelines, and we all followed him, and he broke the law, so he needs to go.
Do you think he should be resigning?
Yes, I do.
Why is that?
Ultimately, because I think we need to get rid of him. I think he's terrible. I think he's an awful man.
Ooh,
I think he should stand down
like that one.
Why?
because he's done wrong. It's not right what he's done. He had a chance to put it right, and he hasn't. Unfortunately, he hasn't put it right. So I think he should go.
He sounds disappointed.
I think there is a lot of people that actually put their faith into Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
And obviously when it comes to Brexit and things like that, they put a lot of faith into that man, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they feel like he's done wrong.
Yo, big up yourselves all the time and every time. Welcome back to Out the Box Podcast with myself, Jago, as always, and the legends that be.
How we doing, people? Welcome back to another episode. I hope you all enjoy the show for today. It's G&G News. Big shout out to the panel. Let's have another excellent episode of Out the Box.
People them. You know what that is. Manlike in building. Hope you enjoyed the episode today. Just keep cracking. Don't forget, subscribe, like, put in the comments if you enjoy everything.
Every time. Every damn time. So we're back again. Season 3, episode 4.
Yeah.
Time to resign. Now we all know who we're talking about. One guy who doesn't know what a comb is. At the moment, we have seen a lot of clowns, but we've never seen a clown like this before. So we are now at a point where something has to change. And he is one of the guys that need to make a difference, I guess. So we're going to be looking at a few videos today, and this is the first video from Channel 4 News. Boom.
And also, guys, before we get into this, let us know in the comments down below. Do you think that Boris should resign? And if you do think he should resign, who should replace him?
That's
Good question.
Good question. And so, what about you, GMG? Should he resign?
I think he should resign, but I'll be honest with you, I don't really trust politicians in any way at all because they all have agendas when they seem to come in. I think if we're going to have someone who comes in, they need to really be a person that's there for the public, not somebody that's there for their own agendas. Because as much as he's like a figurehead and obviously like his party influence him to make decisions and whatever else, as a personal leader, as we said earlier on, the man doesn't have a comb. If you can't get out of bed in the morning and brush your hair and address the nation, then, well, I don't really want you running the nation anymore. So, on my personal opinion, no.
Man, trying to say curtains, bro.
You saying, B.Dot?
To me,
Yeah.
he should have resigned months ago, if not a year ago, if not about a year and a half ago. You know, he has systematically broke down this country into little bits.
Boom.
You know what I mean? Causing mass divide.
So true.
Whenever he's in trouble, he keeps on shouting vaccine. When someone wants to ask him a genuine, proper question, he goes and hides in the fridge. Not only that, there's been Partygate. Remember, 16 different occasions he was having parties while he was telling us, to stay in the house and not be around no one. And the Queen was obviously going through a funeral the night before her funeral, of her husband's funeral, sorry. You know what I mean? So like, all them sort of different things that's been going on. And my man still wants to stand strong like he's got a final stand left in him. His final stand's done for me, innit? Resigning it, done. So I'll say Boris out. I've been shouting that for a while.
Jeez.
And what about you?
Well, we obviously know what I think. But yeah, this guy needs to resign. So let's have a look at some of these videos and let's get on it. Jeez.
Yeah.
Parties, the pictures, and now the fallout. A public rift emerging with the Chancellor and mounting Minister as more MPs threatened to call for him to go. Today, former Minister Stephen Hammond said it looked like the end for Boris and that he was considering very carefully whether to send in a letter of no confidence. while Nick Gibb, who served under 3 separate leaders, wrote a scathing article in The Telegraph saying that Johnson had flagrantly disregarded COVID rules, and to restore trust, we need to change prime ministers. And yesterday, one of the Chancellor's allies and serving Treasury...
Sorry, go on, go ahead.
It's all well and good to say change prime ministers, but then if you don't have somebody that's the next person in line that you can then, you know, trust to run the country.
No, but
I'm not saying
election, isn't it? They'll have their own inside election for that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's just a political play then.
So, from what I know, I don't know. They might even explain it in this, but from what I know, I think you need 54 letters from different MPs to have an absolute vote of no confidence in your leader of the party.
54 out of how many is there then?
I don't know. I just know that I think you need around 54. I could be wrong. It could be more. Yeah, but I think I heard the number 54.
Okay.
But I've already heard, but there is shouting that he's already above 20 say, or there's 20. There could be 20 say letters in already of it. So he's close to a vote of no confidence from his own party.
There you go.
Minister also wrote a press article saying he had told Johnson he was frustrated and let down. There are now at least a dozen letters that have been written to the 1922 committee, with 54 needed to trigger a vote of no confidence.
There you go.
Backlash to revelations of lockdown parties at number 10. The police are reportedly examining 300 photos, including one said to be inside the Downing Street flat of Johnson with a beer, taken by the official photographer. Today there was growing disquiet amongst senior Tories. One said to me that they were preparing their own letter of no confidence to submit by the end of the week, after consulting with their association. But it's a different picture when you speak to the money men behind the Conservative Party, because they still seem to back the Prime Minister. One explained to me that while Boris Johnson was difficult to handle, he remained a survivor. Boris faithful Nadine Dorries also defending the Prime.
A survivor? And who are these people that are backing it?
Hold on. They said they were going through 100 pictures and only one picture was from inside. Really? Who now on the panel? Who believes that? Who believes that only one picture was from inside and there was 99 pictures seen? But that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be redacted pictures. There's going to be pictures that are I don't mean redacted as being blacked out, and I'm talking you won't see them pictures.
How many people are good at Photoshop these days?
Yeah.
True that.
Unveiled the government's online safety bill.
There are 365 MPs, the vast majority of who are out there today in their constituencies, delivering from the promises they made when they were elected and delivering on behalf of the Prime Minister. Many of them are aware that they owe their seats and their majority, the biggest majority since Margaret Thatcher, to Boris Johnson.
Have you lost faith in the Prime Minister?
Last week, though, 5 of Johnson's closest aides resigned in the space of 24 hours, including his Chief of Staff, Dan Rosenfeld, and his longtime advisor, Munira Mirza, who penned a stinging resignation letter after Johnson wouldn't apologise for claiming that Sir Keir Starmer failed to prosecute Jimmy Savile. On the same day, the Chancellor seemingly rebuked the Prime Minister for those same comments.
You know, being honest, I wouldn't have said it, and I'm glad that the Prime Minister clarified what he meant.
The move triggered headlines about a growing civil war at the heart of government, with unnamed cabinet sources calling for the Chancellor to be sacked for disloyalty.
What is that?
I was gonna say, what are they doing? It looks like he's pouring a big bowl of Kellogg.
I think there might be at some sort of brewery. I think they might be at a brewery.
So Corona is going on and they're at a brewery.
Yeah, come on, bruv. Come on. It's the Conservatives. But the thing that makes me laugh, is my man wants his job. You know, I don't think I think Boris is actually looking at Rishi Sunak now going, bruv, what are you doing? I put you in place to help me out. And Rishi Sunak's thinking, if I can do a better job than you, why not try and go for the seat?
Yeah.
So now he's gone from I back the Prime Minister wholeheartedly to the little statement you saw there in the video that we watched.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have said that. I'm glad he clarified things. You know what I mean? He's already said that there's certain things he does not believe in, which obviously Boris does. I mean, if it was him, he'd be thinking differently. And they all class him as a free thinker. And that's what they want at the moment, a free thinking prime minister. He's the free thinker right now. That's what they think. So I do think he has a very big chance of becoming the next prime minister.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
Mm.
Insiders say Sunak would be the front runner if a leadership campaign happened quickly. But the history book suggests Tory favourites struggle to hold on to the lead.
Well, joining me now is Jill Rutter, who has previously worked for the Number 10 policy unit and is now a policy expert. Where do you work now?
So I work at a thing called UK and Change Europe at King's College London. I'm also a senior fellow at the Institute for Government.
Good, right, excellent. Now, let's look at the impact of the government's ability to govern on the last week. Consider first the exodus of senior advisors and civil servants. Does it matter?
It does matter because they're key to actually just making the day-to-day operation tick over. So if you haven't got those advisors in place, and they may be hanging on until their successors are appointed, but they're the people who sort of, manage all the paperwork that comes in, manage the Prime Minister's schedules, get him to make decisions and things like that. So if they're there in a slightly sort of lame duck status, they're looking for other jobs, wondering what's going to happen to them next. That's not a great state for them to be in. Obviously, the Prime Minister's brought in a new head of the policy unit to replace Munira Mirza. She's a very long-established aide. He's brought in someone that he knows as well, so there may be a bit more continuity then. But other people in the policy unit, we saw someone else leave on Friday. Others who like working with Munira Mirza will be wondering whether they...
And realistically, when you're in that situation, just like, I suppose, my unit manager at B&Q, if one of the managers decides to leave, they'll find someone else to put in there straight away.
No one's irreplaceable, bro.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing with people leaving is the perception. So regardless of what functions that happen, like we said, that they can get replaced and then functions can still happen. But the perspective of the people will now start seeing, like, there's our leader and a lot of these sergeants, top people are just stepping out. Like, obviously there's something going wrong there, isn't it? So,
not only that, sorry to cut you off there, but I do think people have got to see it in an element of experience as well. Like, these people have basically kept Boris Johnson afloat. Years now. You know what I mean? Now these people have stepped down, you've got to try and find a like for like. I don't think you have a like for like in the Conservative Party. And if you do, they don't like you.
No.
You know what I mean? So I do think that he's lost a bit of the experience, or a couple chinks in his armor's gone from them 5 people.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Will stay or not. So you'll have quite a lot of people who might be spending a rather lot of time on the phone to people who might offer other job opportunities.
Right. I mean, and sort of losing somebody like your director of communications basically affects your ability to get the message out.
It does, because it takes time to establish someone who's on your wavelength, got your trust, is across the whole range of briefs. Remember, one of the things about being at Number 10, that daily briefing that we see, that person has to sort of know where all the bodies are buried, where the mines lie, know what the lines are, across the whole range of government activity.
She meant that literally, where the bodies were buried.
What I was going to say, where the bodies are buried, where the mines are. It's just like,
she meant that literally.
Where the gold's hidden.
You're done.
With the treasures found.
So Number 10's not a small operation, so there'll be some people there. But what the Prime Minister has, in one stroke effectively, is removed his top team. And that's really quite difficult. It's a decapitation strategy.
Right, but more broadly, I mean, when you think politically about other cabinet ministers and other government departments looking on at this apparent chaos in Downing Street, does that affect your ability to deliver policy as well?
Yes, it does, because one of the things is
all those people who work in number 10, they only derive their authority across other departments from the power of the Prime Minister. And what you see then is a big shift in the balance from a position where cabinet ministers feel more or less dependent on the Prime Minister. He, after all, has the power to both hire and fire them. You have a sort of quite a big balance back where people will think, well, you know, the Prime Minister is hanging on a bit by a thread. Do we really have to do what these annoying people in Downing Street are trying to tell us to do? It's always quite difficult. It's quite difficult if you're in Downing Street to actually get information out of quite a lot of government departments. The Treasury, that is notoriously quite a tricky relationship to manage, even though it's, you know, between 10 and 11 Downing Street, and it's been through various incarnations when relations have been very good. David Cameron and George Osborne, I think, is the apogee of a really, really good, close working relationship.
Relations are tricky. So what? There's like issues within their own government, within their own sectors, between each other. So then, how does that then spell like a strong government if they're not being honest, like in the Treasury, and they're not communicating properly? If anything, that kind of just shows weak government, doesn't it?
I think it does. I think it does actually show, like, not even just a weak government, but like a weakening government, a crumbling government. You get what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, not only weak, because we know that obviously for it to be weakened and for it to be crumbling on the outside, it's got to be weak on the inside, isn't it? And we know that, and obviously we know that it is. You see what I'm saying? So, like, how can they class it as strong or united or whatever they want to call it when we know these things are going on within that country?
Yeah, the infrastructure is weak.
Even though they're trying to hide it, they can't and are not. I think they've decided to go, F it, like, if people see that we're crumbling, innit?
Yeah.
I think they just kind of like gave up on trying to hide it.
To times when it's been extremely tense, sometimes creatively tense, sometimes quite destructively tense, as we saw between Margaret Thatcher and Nigel Lawson, one of the things that was one of the factors in her ultimate fall. So you also have the fact that as Prime Minister, you are constantly wondering about what your colleagues are up to. I was in the policy unit under John Major, and I remember once just making a very casual remark to him about, he complimented me on a jacket I was wearing. I said, oh, Michael Portillo said that too. And he immediately turned to me and said, when were you talking to Michael Portillo? Because Michael Portillo is one of his notorious bastards. So yeah, if even I as a civil servant there, you know, were deemed to be, why was I talking to someone whose loyalties were under suspicion? You can imagine it's not a very productive atmosphere.
And just in a few seconds, would anyone want to go and work there?
I think it's a lot of people who might otherwise have thought number 10 was the best opportunity you get will be thinking, do I want to go? Do I want to go now? Do I want to go for this Prime Minister?
Jill Rutter, thank you very much. Indeed, and just bearing in mind the time of day, I should apologise if the language Jill used, which I think was a quote, was
okay, whatever.
I think he's just a bit shook because she
yeah. They said something in his ear, innit? He's like, just make sure that we're not got anything to do with what she just said. So I mean, realistically, here's what the bottom line is, yeah. These people walking out, there ain't no issue with it. Because you got to think, yeah, where Matt Hancock had to step down from Health Secretary, was there an issue that there wasn't a Health Secretary? No, there was a Health Secretary straight away. So all these people walking out, there isn't really it's just people walking out, isn't it, really?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. To us, maybe, you know what I mean? But to him on that side, as I said, these are people I think kept him afloat. There were certain people that I think were intelligent enough that he kept like as a sort of secret team, if anything. Because these are names you're not really hearing unless it's predominantly about them. So you don't really hear their names so much. Yeah. But with these people, like these people now stepping down and resigning, yeah, as I said, I feel like a couple of chinks in his armour have gone missing. And I think someone's going to go for their weak points real soon.
I reckon, let's see.
The thing I normally see as well when people step down from like government or parliament or anything to do with this sort of sector is straight away they go to the press and they make a statement about whoever was their previous boss or whatever else. So guys, next couple of months, we're going to find out some very interesting things about Boris Johnson. Make way for
I think as soon as Boris Johnson's not Prime Minister no more, we're going to find that some interesting people.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
It always happens like that.
The second video we're going to look at is from the Times Radio. There we go.
If the Prime Minister has breached COVID rules, should he be resigning?
Yes,
Why do you think that?
because I didn't break any COVID rules. I followed the guidelines, and we all followed him, and he broke the law, so he needs to go.
But anyone that was fined should be reimbursed.
They should definitely resign.
What?
I want him out now.
Right. I will pose that question to you two in the panel. I will also pose that to the people watching. Please put in the comments. Do you believe that if you was fined at any point for any amount, yeah, because you broke restrictions, yeah, do you believe you should be reimbursed?
I think that although it would be nice to be reimbursed, that's just like, you know, not looking at the issue. That's just like a
monetary incentive.
Yeah, like.
No, I'm just asking the question. I
mean,
I just thought it might be something to pose to everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I mean, to be fair, here's what I'm saying, yeah? The money is the least of people's issues with when it came to the whole thing, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
It was more the fact that people were dying, going through mental health, going through abuse, domestic abuse, people were losing jobs, people losing income, people commit more suicide. There was more everything, yeah, that was bad, yeah? And they picked up one little thing. Oh, people got fined. Nah, man. I think it's nice that people want to get their money back and it should be given back to them straight away, realistically, if that was a thing. But realistically, we need to be looking at the whole problem. And I know that if that happens, then it's going to be like, cool, it's been sorted.
GMG?
With the situation where anyone was fined, then obviously, of course, they should have their money reimbursed. But as from what Jago was saying, and like first-hand accounts, like I know a couple of people who also passed away throughout lockdown and were mentally affected by it and whatever else. There's no price that you can't put a price. One, you can't put a price on a life. Two, you can't put a price on how it affected people. And three, I know no one's asked like whether we think Boris should resign or not. I personally think he should resign, because how can you impose measures onto others? How can someone sit there and dictate, this is the rules, this is what you're supposed to do? Then you have secret parties, then you don't follow your own government guidelines, and it affects the nation and whatever else. He should get out, bro. Literally, in my opinion, he should get out, and anybody who has to pay any sort of fines in any sort of way should be refunded.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make up for the loss of life, the loss of job.
And the other thing I think that will cause will be animosity, because you had a set of people that did everything that they were told, yeah, because they felt like they had to, and then you had the people that didn't and got fined for it, yeah. And now it seems like they're getting rewarded back, they get their money back, but all these other people that actually complied, who might have had loss in the family, who might have had all that, they ain't getting nothing, and it's gonna build animosity between the people.
Well,
that's what I was gonna say. The next thing I was gonna pose was, would you feel like, if someone on one side obviously got their money back and got reimbursed, and again, the people watching, please put this in the comments also. You know what I mean? Your opinions are appreciated, valid. You got one person that's watching another person basically get their money back from being fined. Would that person see that as, why are you rewarding them with their money back? Like, what? I've done everything I was supposed to do. Like, what? I don't get nothing for that. What about my family members that passed away? What? You don't get nothing for that. What about the money you lost through loss of earnings? You know what I mean? What about all this trauma? What about all this sort of stuff that's going on? You know what I mean? Like, what? Are we not going to get anything for that? But yet these people that got fined, we're going to go, oh, by the way, I'll take your money back. It's okay. We fucked up, so we didn't do this. Like, I don't think it'll be a madness, I think.
Do you want him out now as well?
Well, not necessarily. I don't know what the alternative would be. I don't know if Keir Starmer's up to the job, but maybe there should be another Conservative Prime Minister. It's not fair. So many people have been following the rules. They have had family that's passed away that they haven't been able to see, to say their goodbyes, and then they've broken the rules. He should resign.
Who would you like to see take over?
Maybe Rishi Sunak. I don't know.
His name keeps popping up.
I'm gonna claim I don't watch politics.
It's a bit unfair for everyone else, for him to party and everyone else can't see their families. We couldn't go out, we couldn't do anything, but at the same time he was there having fun, which is not fair.
Good rules. Do you think he should be resigning?
Yes, I do.
Why is that?
Ultimately, because I think we need to get rid of him. I think he's terrible. And he's an awful man.
Oh,
I think he should stand down.
Like that one.
Why?
Because he's done wrong. It's not right what he's done. He had a chance to put it right, and unfortunately, he hasn't put it right. So I think he should go.
He sounds disappointed.
I think there is a lot of people that actually put their faith into Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
And obviously when it comes to Brexit and things like that, they put a lot of faith into that man, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they feel like he's done wrong. I think there is a lot of the country that is disappointed in Boris. Not just angry, but totally and utterly disappointed.
Yeah, of course. Especially, I feel like the people who was born in his generation, because there were the people that actually probably listened to him and thought like, yeah, he was born in our generation. He understands how things should be going, you know. But yeah, he just let down everyone.
Everyone.
Right. So this is the last video we're going to have a look at. So this video is done by a guy called Jonathan Pye. Very funny guy, very direct to the point. So this is on obviously Boris Johnson and his glorious amount of lies that he's had done.
Right, so just before you carry it, just before you play, for the people also, like, I know this video has been done by the New York Times, I think.
Yeah.
That they've done this. So we do know that there is an element of comedy that's going to be in this. Yeah, I can say that now. There will be an element of comedy because it's someone like Jonathan Pye.
Yeah,
but I do believe
it doesn't take away from facts.
No, he doesn't take away from no facts. And not only that, I do believe that what he says, a good 80 to 90% of the country actually believe that. Just they can't say it because they'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
And if you agree with the views or opinions of the people on the show, don't forget to leave a like on this video, subscribe to
done now.
TV, and obviously you want to go and ring that bell, and you'll be informed each and every single time new videos drop weekly on the channel.
Jeez.
And this video includes strong language and adult humor, people.
Oh yeah, it does.
No, it's great to be here. Great to be here. It's New York Times. It's very exciting. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah. See if you can do something with his eyes. He's got bags like Yoda's ballsack. So you people are so f***ed off with Boris Johnson, basically. In a way that an American audience can understand, right? Without swearing, obviously. Sorry. Let me think. Boris Johnson, a demonstrable liar who's only out for himself. Don't know if that sounds familiar to an American audience. Boris Johnson, a narcissist with shit hair. Again, sound familiar? I think I can't say liar, can I? Really? Oh, in the UK, you can't call them liars. You have to say like, oh, he inadvertently misled Parliament. Seriously, I can just come out and say it. Call him a liar. Oh, God bless America. Okay, let's go for one, shall we? Yeah. The first thing you need to know about Boris Johnson is he's a liar. Trumpian is the ease with which he tells porkies, but Boris is a product of a system that, porkies, porky pies, lies, Cockney rhyming slang, you're apples and pears. American audience, sorry, New York Times. Boris Johnson is a liar. Just keep it simple, stick to that. All right. Let's start from the beginning, okay? It began with a party
It seems there really might have been a Christmas party at Downing Street.
Staff here in number 10 held a large party, seemingly breaking COVID rules.
2 parties.
New allegations that he broke his own COVID lockdown rules again.
16 of them. 16 separate piss-ups.
What?
I love how that went
yeah.
from 1, 2, 16. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, mate, 16, different.
Oh, it's got to look. Number 10, flat party, even party for former aid. Wow.
Most of them when the rest of the country was in full lockdown.
You should not be meeting friends. If your friends asked you to meet, you should say no.
At a time when the Prime Minister was telling us all to have no social contact with friends, colleagues, and, in thousands of instances, dying relatives, when the cops were handing out fines for anyone inviting more than 2 people over for a cup of tea, the people who set those rules were having work drinks, summer garden parties, and later Christmas office quiz nights. But the one that got us really riled up...
2 parties were held at number 10. The night before the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral.
Boris was forced to apologise.
Yes. So, just before, obviously, the night before the funeral, there was a party that they had, even though they were telling people at the time as well, and also at the time, not to be around each other. You can't have people, obviously, funerals or anything like that. So the Queen had a funeral where she was the only person there. And the night before that, they were getting pissed up the night before that.
Wow.
I got no love for the Queen, but I'll be completely honest. That's disgusting.
That is disgusting, isn't it?
That's disgusting that they can impose that and affect the Queen and they're in Parliament.
They had to apologise.
We're gonna have a party.
You had to
have a
apologise.
funeral by yourself. That's disgusting.
Yeah, man. Thoughts, Jay?
It's so ridiculous that they just kept emphasising social distancing and staying at home when they were literally doing the complete opposite. It's just so mad. Like, you would think, like, okay, yeah, there's a couple of parties thrown, yeah, and that he should have done that. But there's 16 parties were thrown over the period, and this brother's lying to us in our faces.
Yeah,
I can't take that.
Peak, innit?
Can't take that.
The Queen, when it emerged, 2 of those parties took place the night before her husband's funeral. The Queen, she's our head of state, a bit like your president, but you know, she's in her 90s, so she's a lot younger than your guy. So on the day that the Queen sat on her own funeral, because of rules Boris had set, his closest colleagues in government were taking Alka-Seltzer and the morning after pill, having got flying drunk on BYO, M&S, G&Ts. BYO, bring your own booze, drink, alcohol. M&S, Marks and Spencer's. It's like the British upmarket Walmart, except you can buy butter instead of military-grade assault rifles. G&Ts, gin and tonics, a sort of English alcoholic Sprite. Anyway.
All the guidelines were observed. I thought that I was attending a work event.
Boris denied any knowledge of any parties until it became clear he was at some of them.
You know what I feel, yeah? I feel like these guys have done all these parties and they said, you know what, yeah? No one's going to question us, man. We run the country, don't worry about it, yeah? And then they question us, like, just play it off. They haven't come out with a plan, they haven't come out with those stories. He's just like, well, I thought it was a work dude. Like,
they generally thought they were gonna get away with it because stuff like that happens all the time. So they would that's what they had no plan, bro. They were just like 17 parties, yeah, make it 24, bro. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, but here's what gives me the joke. Yeah, here's what gives me the joke. As soon as they start getting catch on these certain parties, yeah, instead of standing there and going, right, we're all united, let's all, just like you got Cody's, they're all Cody's technically, right? They're all co-defendants, right? Now, usually with co-defendants, no matter what happens, you know for a fact, no comment. Yeah. Where half of these men have gone, no, fuck that, man, I resign, I'm saying this, and left him on his own. That's what I feel like they've done. I feel like it's been like a little bit of a thrown under the bus thing, but he deserves everything he gets. Do you get it?
100.
Speaker, I want to apologise.
I.e., he lied to the country and to Parliament. And he did lied to Parliament.
Pause that for a sec. Pause it for a sec. I would like to apologise. In other words, he lied.
Lied to Parliament. And that's Boris all over. His lies are no secret. He essentially lied to the Queen when he illegally shut down Parliament. He lied to the country when he said Brexit would be good for farming and fishing and trade deals and the economy. He's been fired twice for lying. He was fired as a journalist from the London Times newspaper for simply just making stuff up. And he was fired for lying about shagging someone behind his wife's back. And shagging is English.
Yeah, that was true. That was he did. He got caught in a lie.
Bins sort of way. A pub, that's a British bar where they serve warm ale and Scotch eggs. Scotch eggs, they're boiled eggs covered in sausage meat and breadcrumbs, and they're f***ing disgusting. Sorry, I've just gone a bit off track there, haven't I? It's a bit nervous. New York Times. How can someone with demonstrably questionable morals and a more than casual relationship with the truth reach such a powerful position? One word springs to mind: entitlement. Boris comes from a long succession of posh, upper-class, bumbling idiots who are destined for greatness only because no one has ever or will ever tell them they're not. Boris went to Eton, a sort of Hogwarts for wankers, where you get taught Latin and tax avoidance whilst wearing full evening dress. These people have...
I'm sorry. This is why I think he's brilliant, innit? Like, not only is he saying it like how I'll be honest, innit? Half the things that I think, he comes out with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's him, and there's a couple others that come out with exactly what I'm thinking when it comes to these lot, the government and that. Like, and I feel like he's the one that kind of delivers it the best. Do you get what I mean by that? Like, his delivery is crackers because it's just true.
Life, apart from perhaps their chauffeur. Then on to Oxford, where Boris Johnson was part of the infamous Bullingdon Club, a fun, elite social club for the boys. Activities included smashing up restaurants and burning £50 notes in front of homeless people, allegedly.
But, you know, it was great fun at the time.
And the British government is full. Entitled assholes with a Bentley and a nanny making decisions for us all about things that they will never understand. Aristocrats running the 5th largest economy in the world whilst allowing 30% of British children to live in relative poverty, where the rich get richer and the poor literally get hungrier. Millionaires who spend their time in government giving tax breaks and PPE contracts to their rich mates. Cannibals, self-serving parasites, tapeworms in tiaras, swimming through the intestines of the state, sucking all the goodness out of it for their own repugnant gratification. Boris was born into wealth. He never wanted for anything, never really earned his place in the world, a narcissistic serial shagger, an opportunistic liar who's happy to work outside the law and the realms of accepted decency, and who has dragged his once great political party into scandal and moral bankruptcy. Sound familiar? You can see where I'm going with this, right? Boris and Trump, both products of a broken political system that rewards ignorance and hubris. And like Trump, Boris says he loves his country, yet Boris and his cabal of vicious right-wing populists show open disdain for all the things good about it. The NHS, the welfare state, teachers and judges, the courts. They hate the BBC and allow corporations to churn raw sewage into our rivers and beaches, selling off and deregulating anything they can for a quick buck, allowing and openly encouraging the country to rot from the inside out so they can sell it for scrap to the highest bidder. Bring it back a bit.
Pause.
Too much.
Bring it back a bit.
Tell, like, please, in the comments, you two, whoever, like, I'm saying this now, please, tell me the man's wrong, though.
Nah, he ain't. It's not
Tell me he's wrong.
And it's good
Someone, please, in the comments, if you're watching this, I'm looking straight down at the camera right now, innit? please, if you truly believe that this man is wrong, explain it to me, innit? Let's have a conversation, please.
Jay?
That's
Too much. It was the self-serving parasites, wasn't it? Okay, let's go for another. Actually, can I get a cup of tea?
So that was that.
Thoughts?
So yeah, man, it's obviously the bottom line is does Boris need to resign? The answer from my side, yes. Obviously, like for him doing these parties and that, I think that's the smallest thing, yeah, he's getting away with. I think he's done so many other heinous crimes and that he should just accept it on the jaw and take it and step down, but for these little parties. Because
but he's not going to do that, bro.
He's going to have to.
Yeah, but he's not gonna, because technically he's had to for the longest time now, and he hasn't even batted an eyelid to say that he's gonna do that, or that he's looking to do that, or that he's thinking to do that. Remember, they've already asked him the question: if you've been found to do certain things, yeah, like, are you gonna stand down? He refused to answer that question.
Well, then obviously, if man won't stand down, they'll kick him out, innit?
Well, then that means that he's going to have a vote of no confidence. They're going to have more MPs are going to have to write until he gets 54 letters. And once he gets to 54 letters, then basically he has no confidence in it. Someone could go against him.
I agree with you that he does have to stand down. And furthermore, as you were saying, with what's going on at these parties, it's probably like a little thing, because 9 times out of 10, stuff like this information comes out to delve you away from what they're hiding behind the scenes of even worse things that are currently happening and have happened throughout the whole time of him being in power. Plus, I think a lot of people lost a lot of faith in him due to Brexit. And then from that, look at when Brexit was first opposed, before it even come into place, where they were talking about it and everything, and how many people were just like, this is going to ruin our economy. And it seemed that over the whole time of the whole course of Boris being in power, the country has just fallen more and more into disarray. So he needs to get out.
Here's the thing, though. Again, on the flip side of things, yeah, on what we're saying, on the flip side of it, though, I still think there's an element of worry, because without the money man he's got behind him, he would have resigned. So he's got powerful money man behind him, innit?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's the other side we've got to worry about. Because what if the money man make up the other side, innit? And they're the ones that have to put the letter in. They're not looking to do that. They've already said he might be hard to handle, but he's a survivor. So they believe in the man, innit?
Yeah. I think the reason why they'd rather him be in that position and have blame placed upon him than be in that position themselves and have blame placed upon them.
Maybe these money men don't want so much of a free thinker.
It's easy, yeah, exactly. It's easy to have a guy that you can kind of just pay off as an escape and be like, put this into place, move all right, so good, and they'll just bumble along and I agree.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So there we have it, mate. There we have it. Boris, our leader, shambles.
Long and short of it still, you get me?
Yeah, man. So got both sides there, which are very good points. But we'll see what happens. We don't know what will happen in the next 6 months. I mean, you never know. There might end up even being a flipping revolt. Yeah, people might be outside the House of Parliament waiting for Boris to come out so they can put him in the back of a car and that. Yeah, you don't know. We don't know, man. And plus, obviously, there's so many other things going on. I have a feeling he's going to get a slap on the wrist, innit? But we'll see what happens, anyway.
Yeah.
As always, I would always say, do your due diligence. Make sure you're informing yourself and researching every so often and finding out the truth. That's what we all want in our lives, a little bit of truth. Well, a lot of truth, to be fair. So, yeah, let's do this, people. So that's out for me. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode today, guys, don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on post notifications, because that way you'll be informed each and every single time that new content comes out. Obviously, interact with us in the comments. Let us know, you know what I mean? Do you agree? Do you not agree? What's your opinions on Boris? Should he stay in? Should he be out? What's your opinions on the next person to come in? And if anything, just check out new content when it drops each and every single week. I've been GMG News. Big shout out to the panel. This is OTB.
Yo, I hope, well, I say we, obviously we, but I also hope that you enjoyed today. I think it's a banger as per usual. Don't forget to like, subscribe, notification bell, let you know when we're coming out of the next one. And other than that, people them. Man likes out.